now. We have Celisse here. Hi, Celisse.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
I can. I
Awesome.
can. I'm so excited to talk to you. So,
Yeah,
like,
same.
share with everyone a little bit more about you, where you're at in your career journey
Yeah,
right now.
will do. Sorry for the huge mess behind me.
That's okay.
That's all part of the process, though, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. I'm an artist, I'm a photographer. So I've been running my business for close to 10 years as an interior photographer. So I've been working with real estate agents, interior designers. I had some really fun projects over the years. But I've just been feeling in the last, I think through COVID, and I got married in during COVID as well, and renovating our house. So like a lot has happened in my personal life,
Yeah.
and just trying to navigate that while living in a under pandemic world.
Yeah.
I let my business take a back seat for a bit. So now I'm ready to jump back in, but it just felt like it needed a facelift. I was in a different phase and wanted to do different things with it. And even technology has changed a lot in the last few years, like what you're able to do on social media and how businesses are marketing themselves. So different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in this new phase where I'm revamping. I've completely rebranded my business, and I'm offering a print collection now of my own work and doing like live markets. I have a big one coming up this weekend. I just launched my print collection online, so I have an e-commerce site now, and I will be starting my own one-on-one photography classes.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
know.
lots is happening.
Yeah, and you like I can imagine from just like hearing your story too is you probably had a ton of ideas, right? Is that one of
Yeah.
the problems you had? Like what were some of the challenges you had when you wanted besides the pandemic? What were some
Yeah.
challenges when it came to like starting the business?
Like over the years, I think, yeah, that's the one thing you're as an artist, I think you always have lots of different ideas. So it's hard to juggle those and know which ones that you should chase after. Um, and then finding the time to even just to run a business as a solopreneur. There's so many hats to wear. So to be able to do your admin and do your marketing and then do the jobs and get them done on time, all of those things I've struggled with. And so when I'm doing one really well, the other thing is suffering. So that's kind of held me back through over the years, even before the pandemic, with really getting things to where I wanted it to go. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can imagine as an artist too, there's probably like so much creativity. Like for me, it's like writing. Like I love that needs to be part of my day is like letting that out. But for you, combining that with the admin stuff, that can really like take a toll on your creativity, I would
It
imagine.
can, yeah. And I worked in banking for about 10 years before I jumped into my business. So being in a creative field was a great outlet, but then I also had kind of on autopilot become more of an administrator. So it's easier to just sit at the computer and fix spreadsheets and do the invoicing, but you have to get the jobs as well and be on the jobs. And that's the part that I really love, but it's hard to do both. That's what
Yes,
it's about.
definitely. So how did you find out about Classy Career Girl? Like how did you come in contact with us?
I feel like it was probably on Pinterest like
Ooh.
forever ago. Like I've been getting your newsletters for years. And I think a long time ago I even downloaded like one of the, I think it maybe was like a free business plan template. And I was like, I need to do this. I don't have a business plan. So I went through that years ago and I filled it all out, and it helped just to kind of give me a bit more focus. But
That's so good. I love our business plan, like the one
yeah,
pager. Like everyone needs a one-page business plan for sure.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so that provided probably a lot of clarity as far as direction goes.
It did, yeah. So I had that for a long time, and then I kept getting your newsletters, and one popped in my inbox recently that caught my eye, and I was like, I think I need to go get back to that, especially now that I'm ready to take my business in a different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the success path? Like I'm assuming you started inside of class
Yeah,
membership, you started corporate rescue plan.
I did. Yeah. So I'm still in phase 2 because I'm just trying to work through it quite methodically, I guess. But I've bounced around and looked through all of the different lessons. One thing that I'm really enjoying is the reading list. So went to my library and have like borrowed as many of those books as I can, and
Good.
that's been really, really helpful. On the organization side, like downloading Asana and just being able to see the tasks that I have and then delegating things. And is this like, do I need to do this today? What's my one thing? That's kind of what I've been really focusing on.
That's so good. Yeah, it's like the foundation I feel like people skip of like just getting organized and getting your mindset ready, which is those are the first things you're focusing on, and getting the education, the books and everything too.
Yeah.
So you're starting like with a really solid foundation. I love that. You're not
Yeah.
skipping the steps.
No, I really value like the importance of going through and doing the steps, because I already have like a business that's functioning in the background. I have clients, I have people calling me. And it's not too busy because I don't want it to be too busy just yet. I want to be able to get some of the other foundational things down that I know have been missing. So that's been really helpful, just to take the time and kind of figure out what's been missing and like how to fill the gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did like the success path go, and like when did you kind of like commit to, doing the success path and doing that first step? What was that first step look like?
It was like end of May, early June. So doing that 90-day plan. And at that point, I'd already also committed to doing this market for September 24th. Oh, yeah. So I knew that I had something very tangible that I had to physically be at and have my products available for, which meant a lot of back end, and so being able to have some, the success path to kind of guide me through it and say, okay, these are, I already had the MailChimp and I've had this and I had my website, but through the process of like rebranding, it's been helpful because there was a lot of initial steps that I'd taken years ago that I've had to redo, and what was the most important thing first, and then being able to think that through so that I wasn't double backing and doing things twice. Because if I can get this one thing done, hopefully it should domino effect, and then there'll be more things that will come easier. And I found that that's been really, really helpful through the process.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because we have a lot of people who have had businesses for a long time, and going through the rebranding process, you kind of have to start in the beginning and like go through your purpose and your why and your mission and all that stuff. So it's not just fonts and logos when you rebrand, right?
No, exactly. It's and like drawing your client in. Who's my audience? What am I trying to target? And what services am I going to offer? Will I continue to offer the same ones? Am I going to offer new ones? What's been working? What hasn't been working? There's a lot to go through. So yeah.
So what do you think would have happened if you didn't choose the plan, or if you didn't follow the success path?
Oh, I probably would be like stressed out to the nines right now. I wouldn't have my prints ready. I'd be racing off to the printer the day before like I did the last time, and hopeful that they had turned out. So
yeah, because it's coming up soon here.
Yeah, 3 days, 4 days. So all the prints, I was able to get that. I was like, you know what? I need to get this done like a month and a half, 2 months in advance, so that if something happens, the printer can, he needs to start sourcing. I don't want to drop this on him the last minute and not get what I need. So just all those little things. And it's taken the stress off. There's still been some long days, but not the same type of stress that I would have been under otherwise. Yeah,
that's good. So you're more organized.
Definitely.
You're happier. And like, I love this too, because there's always going to be some sort of stress when you're running your business. Like you can't get out of it. But when you have like the foundation, and when you have a project management system, like you mentioned with using Asana, you have the right tech, you have the right mindset, like all those things add up to like decreasing the stress. There's it's like the exciting stress now.
Yeah, exactly. That's now it's more the creative adrenaline stress, I guess. You're just like, okay, I get to go out and make things. I have a printer now. I have material. He's sourced it. I have price lists. I have a website. It's up and running. I've dealt with Instagram and Facebook and sorted out those issues and troubleshooted it. And now we can move on. So now that is all operating in the background. Now it's time to just like get out there and tell people who I am.
Yay. Well, you have to take pictures and share with us as a win too. I want to see pictures of it. So what have some of the changes been for the good that have that you've been making as you've gone through the success path? Like, what are some of the wins you've had?
Oh, what are some of the wins? I think just having clarity for one, being able to like, I love that book that's in the reading list, The One Thing, and I'm like always going back to that because I'm like, it's true. It's so easy to get distracted by all the other things around us, and a lot of things in business do take priority. So constantly going back to like, what is my priority today? What's that one thing that's going to get me to tomorrow, to next year, to 5 years from now? And that has helped really clarify things. Being able to look at the business side and understand how to monetize and bring in income that's actually generating income long term, and it's not just going out the other as fast as it's coming in. Like, it takes time for you to see the benefits of it all, but to understand it and have it all in place to be able to work forward from it brings a lot of clarity and takes the stress out of it, because it's okay, it's going to be a process, but this is where we're starting, and this is all that you have to do to get there.
I love that. I say it all the time, like it's not an overnight success thing. And so now you saying it, maybe they'll listen to you too, because the income.
No, and I mean, I've been doing this, like I've been running this business for 10 years, and it's had its ups and downs, and it's, ebbs and flows, and there's never been a reason to quit it. But I think if you're struggling in your business, it's just, there's something that you're missing, and you can usually figure it out. You kind of know in the background, but it's easier usually to put it off or ignore it or procrastinate and work on all the other very obvious tasks. So to take a step back and look at it and fix it, it's made all the world a difference.
That's so good. So one of the things you mentioned, you were worried that you couldn't afford it when you signed up too. Like, what would you say to someone who's dealing with that worry too?
Budget. That's a big thing, and that's not always an easy thing. There's always going to be financial challenges that you may prioritize it, but I signed up because there was a $1 offer, and so for honesty's sake, I thought I probably would just stick with the 1 month. But at the end of the month, I saw how many results I'd already gotten. I was like, I have to do this longer because I need this information, and it's already fixing things. So for another 100 and whatever, it's
that's
it's worth
the
it.
goal.
If I can bring in more income on top of that, then it does become easier to budget it.
Yeah. And one of the things I've been telling people, I feel like I've told people the last couple of days too, is like thinking how can I bring in the income? And it kind of just changes your mindset as well when you see like the path just laid out for you, and you're like, how can I do this? And then all of a sudden your income starts increasing. Yes.
Yeah.
You have the systems, you have the tools, you have everything you need to make it happen. I love that. So what would be your final word of wisdom for someone who, maybe for someone like you who is like, coming off a really challenging time through the pandemic and, now wants to kind of relaunch their business? What would you tell that person?
First of all, sign up for Classy Career Girl.
Come join us.
Come join. It's good. But yeah, just not to feel like you're a failure. Like businesses you kind of have to fail to succeed. That's what anyone who's really successful will always tell you. I'm not crazy successful yet, but going through the process of having those moments where it's not working is just an opportunity to figure out how to make it work. It doesn't mean that you have to give up on your dream or your goal, because there's always time to keep working on it. So even if you have to take on something else in the meantime, that dream is always there. So I think just go for it.
Yes, yeah. I love that. And I'd say you are a success. Like you made it, this thing happen, this event happen. So that's why. Share with us your win. We're so proud of you. So where can people find you online? I know you're on Instagram.
Yeah. Celisse Renee Creative Studios. So that is my Instagram handle. It's also my website. The website itself with all of my interior photography is still under construction, but the print shop is open. So I can take orders. I think I've sorted out my international shipping step, so should be able to do that. Yeah, so Celisse Renee Creative Studios, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. And we'll make sure all of the links to everyone we're featuring today are in the comments to this video as well too. So you can go follow them and support them. And thank you so much, Celisse, for joining me and for sharing your story today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.